Well, well. Greetings and good evening, everyone. Literally, we are talking minutes. Two of the biggies in Boris Johnson's cabinet have just resigned, flat out. Now, I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, because I was going to say we've been here before, but we haven't, because your Chancellor of the Exchequer, your Treasurer, has resigned. Your Health Secretary has resigned. These are your two key cabinet positions. I genuinely think, this is why I've gone live, I think we could be looking at the final hours of Boris Johnson. Because previously, no one of at least this level in his government has resigned. I know I've said, I just said just a few moments ago, oh yeah, we've been here before. We really haven't been here before. Sunak and Javid, not only are almost certainly Sunak, but Javid are definitely tipped to be potential replacements to Boris Johnson, but them resigning in the positions that they are has sent such a strong message. And already there is talk of this, that on the BBC there is a quote from a PM ally, from a Prime Minister's ally, who says one of his closest allies has told the BBC this will be all over by this time tomorrow. No PM can survive the resignation of two senior cabinet ministers like that. And he's right. So that's massive. The fact that these two have gone, this could be big. I think things are going to start coming, and this is why I thought I should go live, just to see how things go quickly. So we'll go just following the ticker. So David Frost has put out a statement saying, statement from me in short, Rishi Sunak and Javid have done the right thing. We've got this as well. Dominic Raab and Priti Patel not expected to follow suit and resign. A source close to Raab has told the PA that he was loyal to Johnson, while an ally of Patel said that she's staying. So might we have maybe within the next hour, we might get more resignations. We generally don't know. This is quite exciting times. And as who's this? Glasgow Kiss. Zavawi's tipped to be next. So who is this? So according to this, the Westminster rumour mill is swirling with names who might also follow Sunak and Javid out of the cabinet door. But who of those may stay in the government and who is not likely to resign this evening. So already, this is why we need to sort of follow this, because already there are further rumors swirling around. Other people could resign. So Glasgow Kiss, you could be right. It could be Zawari. It could be him next. Maybe we should start a pool. You know, who's going to be next? Who's next? You decide. But yeah, oh wow. This could move really fast. I do not kid you. This could move really fast. Gerald Ragnar, what the heck is going on in the UK? Unbelievable. What's this? Priti Patel probably has sent in a resignation, but she can't find her crayons. Very true. This is crazy. And trust me, we've been following the craziness of Boris Johnson's government for quite some time on this channel. But for the fact that this is how it could all end, that Chris Pincher was the guy who brought everything down. That was the... Think of everything that has happened, and it was the Chris Pincher saga was the straw that broke the camel's back. That's what forced everyone to say, right, enough is enough, guys. Enough is enough. That's it. Johnson's out. You know, that could be it. But yeah, just this on the BBC. So the following people, according to this, are likely to stay put. So Liz Truss, Katang's on here, Ben Wallace, Priti Patel, Dominic Raab, Trevelyan, Mogg, Scotland Secretary Alistair Jack, Northern Ireland Secretary Brandon Lewis is staying, and Wales Secretary Simon Hart. That looks to be who is staying. Needs to say, current state of play in the cabinet, yeah. So, oh, this is interesting. So, yeah, you can see this, yeah. So you've got gone, obviously, we've got Sunak and Javid. Staying so far, we've got Dominic Raab, Liz Truss, Brandon Lewis, Priti Patel, Kirsty Katang, Nadine Doris, she's going to stay, Jacob Rees-Mogg, Anne Marie Trelin, Simon Hart, Ben Wallace, Chris Hilton Harris, and Alistair Jack, as we just said there. But so far, these are the silent ones. These are the interesting ones. Michael Gove, Nadeem Zawari, again, interesting from what Glasgow Kiss just said there on who could go next. But you've got, obviously, Theresa Coffey, Penny Mordaunt. I think Penny Mordaunt might be the next to go. We've been hearing rumors for a while. Penny Mordaunt could go. That is possible. Then, of course, we've got George Eustice. George Eustice is a possible. George Eustice, every time we've covered arguments in the cabinet, it tends to be George Eustice going against everybody else. So, could be George Eustice. And, of course, we've got Grant Shapps as well. So far, they are the silent ones on this. But it is well worth pointing out that both Sunak and Javid are potential leadership contestants, especially Sunak. I've always said the final two most likely will be Truss and Sunak. And if it gets down to the final two and Truss is still there, well, it's possible she definitely could win it straight away. Oh, more updates. Oh. So Andrew Morrison, MP, has announced on Twitter that he has resigned as a trade envoy. Not a cabinet minister, but something is going on. Something is going on. Something is going on tonight. And I think it is the end of Boris Johnson. You've had two key cabinet ministers resign. You've had a sort of a junior minister here, a trade envoy, now throw him in his lot and resign. I wonder if we can read the wonder if we can. Oh, it's so blurry. Yeah. God, do you think MPs could take a? Do you think an MP could use something other than a potato to take a picture? So I'm trying to read his resignation letter and I can't zoom in on it. I've zoomed in on it that might enough. I just can't zoom in on it. Yeah. Are there any empty fridges left? No, I think all the Boris is going to find that all the fridges suddenly have padlocks on them. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, come on, popcorn, pop faster. Yeah, Night of the Butter Knives. So this is interesting. I wonder if anyone else is going to resign in the next couple of minutes, because we could probably see seen this, but in the meantime, let's try and get what Sunak and Javid have said on their resignation. It should be here somewhere. So an ally of, just to confirm that Liz Truss is staying, an ally of the Foreign Secretary has said that she is 100% behind the PM. Not surprising. So this is Sunak's tweet saying the public have a right to expect the government to be conducted properly, competently, and seriously. I recognise this may be my last ministerial job, but I believe these standards are worth fighting for, and this is why I'm resigning. Gee, you choose now, Sunak. You choose now. You know, after all this stuff, that Sunak has been through in the Johnson government, now is the time to stand up. Not Partygate, not any of the other various stuff that of like sexual scandals that have happened. Now is the time, apparently. But hey, it turned out, I think quite rightly, we'll look back on this and this will be the straw that broke the camel's back. This is it. This is the moment it all happened. It was Chris Pincher that did it. It was Chris Pincher that finally got rid of Boris. Yeah. Past news, 100% behind the PM with a big knife. But anyway, let's see if we can actually read Sunak's resignation letter. Right. Okay, so this is Sunak's resignation letter. Dear Prime Minister, it is with deep sadness that I'm writing to you to resign from the government. It has been my enormous privilege to serve our country as Chancellor of the Exchequer, and will always be proud of doing things in the pandemic that we protect the people's jobs, businesses, through actions such as furlough. Again, getting in his, shall we say, his greatest hits, which, to be honest, weren't a lot. To leave ministerial office is a serious matter at any time. For me to step down as Chancellor while the world is suffering economic consequences of the pandemic and the war in Ukraine and other serious challenges is a decision that I have not taken lightly. However, the public rightly expect the government to be conducted properly, competently, and seriously. I recognise that this may be my last ministerial job, but I believe that these standards are worth fighting for, and that is why I'm resigning. I have been loyal to you. We'll see. We'll see how loyal Sunak is if Boris Johnson goes. I backed you to become leader of our party and encouraged others to do so. I have served as your chancellor with gratitude that you entrusted me with the stewardship of the nation's economy and finances. Above all, I respected the powerful mandate you've given to me, the British people, back in 2019. I understand your leadership. That under your leadership, we broke the Brexit deadlock. This is why I've always tried to compromise in order to deliver the things you wanted to achieve. Okay, so that was why. So all those arguments we were hearing about between Sunak, the levelling up, between Michael Gove, between Eustace, between pretty much everyone else, when we heard this, Sunak was just compromising. Okay. Where are we? Compromise. Compromise on those occasions where I've disagreed with you privately. I've supported you publicly. That is the nature of the government which is built upon. Our system relies on the particularly important that the Prime Minister and Chancellor remain united in hard times, such as those we are experiencing today. Our country is facing immense challenges. We both want low tax, high growth economy. Okay. And world-class public services. Yeah, well, if you're going to lower taxes, how are you going to pay for those world-class public services? Bit of a contradiction there. But this can only be responsibly delivered if we are prepared to work hard, make sacrifices, and make difficult decisions. I firmly believe that the public are ready to hear the truth. Our people know that if something is too good to be true, then it is not true. They need to know that whilst there is a path to a better future, it is not an easy one. Okay, then preparation for a proposal joint speech on the economy next week. It was to become clear that to me that our approach was fundamentally too different. So it's a not you, it's me letter. Okay. I'm sad to believe in government. I've recently come to the conclusion that we cannot continue like this. Right. So that's Rishi Sunak's letter. Oh, hang on, we've got some more updates. So according to Paul Brand from ITV, Gove said he is staying. According to Andrew Brigden, more ministers are going to resign, and the Prime Minister will be shown the door. Speaking to the PA news agency, the MP for North West Lancashire said, "I guess they, Rishi Sunak and Sajid Javid, have finally got where much of the party got weeks, if not months ago. That we just can't carry on like this. What a shambles. It's been a shambles." When asked what he thinks prompted Javid and Sunak to resign, Mr. Brinton said, "The Pincher situation and the Prime Minister have shown to be lying again." On whether he thinks Johnson will resign, the Tory MP said, he will be shown the door, and claimed that more cabinet ministers will resign. So, okay, interesting. So we are expecting potentially more cabinet ministers to resign. So it's just who's next. That's literally what we're sitting here. I am fully expecting maybe to see what happens, but I fail to see how Johnson can continue like this. I really fail to see how he can continue after this. I really can't. You've had two top level ministers resign, and now we had that other MP. So I'm expecting more people to resign tonight. It's just what will happen. Yeah. Udo, what will happen at PMQs tomorrow? Well, put it this way: if Boris hasn't resigned by PMQs tomorrow, and we don't get any further resignations, I wonder if at PMQs tomorrow we will see some more resignations right at PMQs, right in the House. I genuinely wonder if that's what will happen. Yeah, the Guinness World Record book for resigning MP. Yeah, please resign at PMQs. Possibly. Some crossing benches. We've heard talk about this before. This might give the confidence for some of those that have been on the fence about crossing over to either Lib Dems or to Labour, should we say, the push to go on over there. So that could possibly be happening tomorrow. Yeah. If I was Pinchy, I'd be running scared. It's sort of been interesting, this whole Pincher saga, that this is what finally could potentially bring Johnson down. Like I say, you've had the resignation of two big cabinet positions, and it really is who's next. Like, we've just had the thing here saying, oh, Gove team, he's staying. For how long? For how long? We were being assured by both Sunak's team and Javid's team that they were in it for the long haul, that they were going to be with the Prime Minister until the end. Apparently not. Apparently not. So it's just what happens now. I'm expecting more people to resign. I think if more people don't resign later today, I think we could see some tomorrow. But again, it's who could go. There's a lot of people that have said they might stay. Obviously, the obvious ones, you've got Mog, Doris, Truss. I am surprised she hasn't gone. Truss is who I would probably expect to have gone. Like Javid, she is the top leadership contender, so it wouldn't make sense for her to stay around, shall we say, too long. Like I say, the ship is clearly starting to take on water, and I think now you're getting the rats are starting to flee the ship, and I think this is definitely what both Javid and Sunak have thought, that if they're going to get anywhere, then it's time to get now. Get while the getting's good. Yeah. Quoting Lincoln, you can fool some people some people all the time. You can fool people all the people some of the time, but you can't fool people all the time. Yeah, very true. Has anyone seen Steve Baker lately? Okay, Nadine Doris. This is new. Nadine Doris has been seen leaving number 10. So is Nadine Doris going to step into one of these two positions? That could be a possibility. Johnson could be again trying to line up, shall we say, key allies of his who will at least keep him in position. And and let me say this, Doris has shown some ridiculous levels of loyalty to the PM. Ridiculous levels of loyalty to the PM. Would she go to maybe something like I doubt she'd get the Treasury job. I doubt she'd get that. But she might maybe get the Health Secretary job. That's a possibility. That's a scary possibility. She's definitely a person who should be kept away from these positions. Yeah. Perhaps Nadine was offering personal services. But if she's resigned, maybe we'll find out soon, but I doubt she has. She's far, far too much of an ally. to see this. Statement from the leader of Liberal Democrats, Ed Davey. Boris Johnson has to go. His government of chaos has failed our country. Families and pensioners are facing a cost of living crisis with no chancellor and no healthcare. With a healthcare crisis with no health secretary. Oh. So, yeah, there we go. So, Culture Secretary Nadine Doris has reaffirmed her 100% of support for Johnson. I'm not sure anyone actually doubted this, however. I am 100% behind Boris Johnson, the PM who consistently gets all the big decisions right. Well, well, absolutely not. The history of Boris Johnson's government will be written very, very much very, very much in the light that she is wrong there. You got all the big calls wrong. David, I'm from Spain. Why is Nadine worse? Well, well, that's like trying to describe which version of food do you want to eat? Do you want to eat this really bad rotting meat, or do you want to eat this this pile of feces? Take your choice. You know, that's Nadine Doris. Nadine Doris is just absolutely incompetent. Go online, look up Nadine Doris. She is absolutely incompetent. She doesn't read her briefs. She isn't prepared for parliamentary committees. She gets constant questions wrong. She's, unlike Johnson, she is gaffe prone, but she is not clever enough to be able to get out of them. Very recently, we had a Nadine Doris gaffe of her confusing rugby league and rugby union. Now, I'm from the UK. I'm not a big rugby fan. I can't tell you the difference between rugby league and rugby union. But I'll tell you this. If I was going to give a speech to, I think it was the rugby union crowd, I would at least read up and make sure I knew damn well what I was going to be saying before them. And she didn't. She gaffed completely. And ever since then, she's been going out on Twitter trying to play this game. Like, oh, look, I got it wrong. Oh, aren't I being funny? No, Nadine, you're not. You're not being clever enough about it. But yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Cathlo G. Thank you very much for the super chat. Did you see Martin Brooke walk straight past Doris at Silverstone? I'm not surprised. I know she was there recently, but I didn't see that. Yeah. Doris doesn't have to fake any of the her gaffes. Johnson's are mostly fake. It's very true. Yeah, I still can't believe that this overblown Pincher scandal is the reason why they leave. Simply to put, those two were lined up for top roles in US healthcare industries, leaving anyway. The thing is, as we saw in Sunak's letter we just went through. Oh yeah, the government needs to be run competently and sensibly. Well, hold on a second, guys. What about all the other stuff we've just been through? Partygate, the Sue Gray report, the wallpaper stuff, the continuing corruption that appears to have been very present in Boris Johnson's government. This is the thing that breaks your moral code. This is the thing. What about all the other stuff? But no, it does seem to be that maybe the spell on Sunak and Javid seems to have finally broken. Maybe they were in sort of the Johnson cult, and maybe this is the thing that finally broke them out of it. It's going to be interesting to see obviously what happens now, because there are now 2 open positions in the cabinet. Obviously the health secretary, obviously the chancellor of the exchequer, 2 very important positions. Like I say, we are entering into very much an economic crisis, very much driven by the Conservatives and their policies. And even in that statement we read from Rishi Sunak, oh yes, we want a low tax, high wage economy with amazing public services. Yet, how are you going to, first of all, pay for those public services in a low tax economy? Not only that, we've just been through all those RMT rail strikes this week, who have basically already said, we want a pay increase. You've had the barristers on strike as well. We want a pay increase. Whenever anyone wants a pay increase, Boris Johnson and co are all out there going, oh no, sorry, sorry, you can't have a pay increase. Oh no. That's a possibility. That is a terrifying possibility that Mog could fill Sunak's shoes. Mog is a hard right-wing libertarian. And bear in mind, those of you from America watching this now are probably very well aware of hard right libertarians in your country. In the UK, they do exist, but they have never ever been anywhere near government. Mog is the closest any of them have ever got to power. If Mog were to get Chancellor of the Exchequer, that could be a very dangerous position, because he will start to push for that low tax, low regulation economy. That is a very dangerous possibility. Yeah. At least Jacob Rees-Mogg would be interesting. Oh, hang on, we've had another update. Alistair Jack, the Scottish Secretary, says he backs Boris Johnson remaining in Downing Street. Jack MP said, I have full support of the Prime Minister. I'm sorry to see our good colleagues resign, but we have a big job of work to do. That's what we're getting on with. Yes, this old peanut. We're getting on with people's responsibilities. That's it. We're filling the responsibilities of the people. Please cite your work, guys. We're sort of in a cost of living crisis. We're entering into an inflation crisis. We're entering into a potential recession. There is a potential food crisis. You're having a re-flare-up of COVID in in Wales. You are doing nothing. You are doing absolutely nothing to help these people. And it gets even worse where there was a Tory peer in the House of Lords who was on a committee. Oh, hang on, we've just had another one. Who was this? Nicola Sturgeon. See what Sturgeon said. Nicola Sturgeon has tweeted, feels like the end might be nigh for Johnson. Not a moment too soon. No thought that the resigning ministers were only prepared to go when they were lied to. They defended him lying to the public, while the whole rotten lot need to go. And Scotland needs a permanent alternative of independence. So that's Nicola Sturgeon, but of course they're all getting the foot. And I think Starmer put out a statement as well. Read that. It's only fair because we've gone through Ed Davies and Nicola Sturgeon, so we might as well go through his. Where was his? Oh, it was on here somewhere. We'll go through Sajid Javid's resignation letter in a bit as well. So we'll go through his once we've read that. This is interesting. This is from somebody in the Times. Amazing. Speaking to Conservative MPs, including payroll. That's MPs on the government payroll. Those were who basically saved Johnson at the vote of no confidence. And today, how widespread the assumption is that the PM won't make it to the next election. There are disagreements on the mechanism and the timing, but there are not a lot who think that they will fight another election under Johnson. Interestingly, I know several MPs who voted confidence in BJ, but were also taken aback by the scale of the opposition that they now won't, on the grounds that he cannot unify the party. Johnson's time is nigh. It's will he go or won't he? Here we are. This is Keir Starmer's statement. Keir Starmer said that the government is now collapsing. The cabinet ministers who resigned have been complicit as the prime minister disgraced his office. That's actually quite true. I agree with Starmer there. The Labour leader said, after all the sleaze, the scandals and the failure, it's clear that the government is now collapsing. Tory cabinet ministers have known all along who the prime minister is. They have been his cheerleader through this entire sorry saga, backing him when he broke the law, backing him when he lied repeatedly, backing him when he mocked the sacrifices of the British people. In doing so, they have been complicit in every step of the way. He has disgraced his office and let down his country. If they had a shred of integrity, they would have gone months ago. The British people will not be fooled. The Tory party is corrupt and clinging, and the clinging one man won't fix that. Only a real change of government can the British people need the fresh start it needs. So again, Starmer definitely putting his bag out, or should we say his flag out, thinking that there will probably be an early general election. That's very true. We just have to see potentially what happens here. Yeah. Veronica, if Mad Nads takes over the health, what chance of more privatization and restrictions on women's choices over abortion? That's a potential possibility, although I don't know what Nadine Doris's stance on that actually is. But that could necessarily be interesting, although I doubt maybe they could pass it. They couldn't change the laws on abortion on here, certainly not without a vote in Parliament. And of course, Morgan in power is extremely dangerous, not just for women and LGBTQ people, but he is just extremely dangerous on for the UK economy in general, because he will fulfill the deep right-wing libertarian Tory desire. He will go full low tax, trash the economy to see his quote-unquote idea fulfilled, because he is an ideologue at heart. He doesn't care if people say it's wrong. He will plow on regardless. Oh, we've had another resignation. This is just from the BBC. I'm on the BBC website, but yes, the Tory vice chair, Bin Althmin, the Conservative Party's vice chair, has resigned during an interview on Talk TV. So that is someone who has resigned live on air. That was what, 1935. So that wasn't too long ago. That will probably get updated. I won't be surprised if that gets updated soon. Oh no, there it is. Oh no. Hang on. No, it hasn't updated yet. But it's on the BBC tracker as well that I'm following as well for this. So yeah, that's another resignation. So far, we've had Sajid Javid, we've had Rishi Sunak, we've had a junior minister who's a trade envoy, and now you've got the deputy Conservative Party chair. That's 4 resignations. That's 4 resignations. This is not looking good. How can Boris hold on when you've got all these resignations? It's doubtful. If he continues, if he seriously continues, there is going to be an almighty response tomorrow in Parliament. I think you will have people resigning right in PMQs. I think it'll happen tomorrow. I think PMQs is going to kick off. Yeah, someone pinch me. Yep, very true. The rats are leaving the sinking ship. This is it. I think of all things for the Chris Pincher saga to finish off Johnson, it's bizarre the fact that you've had Javid and we'll read Javid's resignation letter through here, but yeah, insane. Chances of new election getting called. It's been thrown around for a while of having an October general election. Will it happen? Will it not? If Johnson thinks, put it this way, we've got to enter the mind of Boris Johnson. We've got to enter the mind of Boris Johnson. That's where we've got to go. If Boris Johnson generally thinks that he wakes up tomorrow and thinks, boy, I have no control over the Conservative Party, he might go for a general election. He might. I think that it is becoming more likely. Here we are. Yep. This is who resigned live on TV, so it's just come through on the Guardian website here. Bin Afumi, I think that's how you say it. MP has announced his resignation on Talk TV. He said, "I don't think the Prime Minister no longer has not just my support, but the party and the country. And for that reason, I think he should step down." On his own position, he said, "You have to resign. I can't serve under the Prime Minister." So that's someone else who has resigned. We've had 4 resignations at the moment in time. How many more are we going to get? How many more are we going to get? We'll have to see. But the big one will be if we get a press conference. That will be it. What's this? Pickly Pit. Rees-Mogg, Sky News, saying the MP has a mandate from the people, not the Tory party. Well, unfortunately, it's the Tory party who give him that mandate to govern. If they've lost confidence in him, like many people have, in fact, that was one of the things that's been reported this week. A lot of Conservative MPs, when they returned to their constituency this weekend, got jided and basically saying, so by their constituents saying, well, who have you assaulted? Have you assaulted anyone? That was the common question Conservative MPs got from their constituents this weekend. I think there are a lot more MPs out there who do not want to keep Boris Johnson in. I pretty much think that. Yeah, trade envoy. So that's the other guy who quit earlier. Oh, here we are. Jacob Rees-Mogg has confirmed he will continue to back Boris Johnson as Prime Minister. The Brexit Opportunities Minister told Sky News, this is what we're just talking about. The Prime Minister won a large mandate in the general election, a vote of the British people, and that should not be taken away from him because of a number of people resign. Again, desperate. Jacob Rees-Mogg, desperate to cling to power. Desperate. Another one gone. Who's gone? Oh, this is Andrew Morrison. Yeah, we all know about him. Yeah. He took his first photo was taken with a potato, and we couldn't read his resignation letter. He now seems to have taken a better photo. Let's read it, shall we? Let's read this one. Then we'll read Javid's. Dear Prime Minister, I wish to resign my post as the Prime Minister's trade envoy to Morocco with immediate effect. The last straw of the rolling chaos of the past 6 months has been unavoidable. The implications of Lord MacDonald's letter to the Parliamentary Commissioner of Standards this morning, others must square, as best they can, the continuing enjoyment of your patronage with their personal sense of decency, honour and integrity. But I no longer can. We entered the Commons together back in June of 2001. I backed your leadership bid in 2016, and with reservations based on your time at the Foreign Office that we discussed at the time in 2019. As habitual and instinctive loyalist, I have strived to be public supportive since. In February, reflecting on your achievements, I wrote supportive an op-ed in The Guardian, in which I said that if you were obliged to leave office, you would do so with your head held high. I would no longer write in those terms. Your position has become unrecoverable. I strongly urge you to resign. So that was from Johnson's trade envoy. At least we've got a better photo of it now. Not on a potato that he was clearly taking it before. So obviously cringe pincher. So that's another one, but that's just as important. But yeah. So what's Javid's letter say? So, Prime Minister, it was a privilege to have been asked to come back into government and serve as Secretary of State for Health and Social Care at such a critical time for our country. I've given every ounce of energy to this task and I'm incredibly proud of what I've achieved. The UK has led the world in learning to live with COVID. God, such a stupid phrase. Thanks to the amazing rollout of our booster program, the investment in treatments, innovations in the way we deliver healthcare, it's just become worse. The British people have enjoyed months more freedom than more other comparable countries. We've also made important strides to recovery and reform the NHS, adult social care. The longest waits are now down by 70%. That's not true; they've gone up. As you know, I've been working hard on wider modernisation of the NHS. I've also developed a new radical approaches to dementia, cancer, and mental health, and prepared the Health Disparities White Paper, which will set out plans to level up healthcare and outcomes for communities that have been left behind for far too long. Given the unprecedented task and scale of the challenge in health and social care, it has been my instinct to continue focusing on the important work. So it is with enormous regret that I must tell you that I can no longer, in good conscience, continue to serve in this government. I am instinctively a team player, but the British people have right to expect integrity from their government. The tone you set as leader and the values you represent reflect on your colleagues, your party, and ultimately the country. The Conservatives, at their best, are seen as hard-headed decision makers, guided by strong values. We may not have always been popular, but we've always been competent in acting with national interest. Sadly, in the current circumstances, the public are concluding that we are now neither. The vote of confidence last month showed that a large number of our colleagues agree, and it was a moment of humility, grip, and a new direction. I regret to say, however, that it is clear to me that this situation will not change under your leadership, and you have therefore lost my confidence too. I have to say, this one by Javid is condemning Johnson in a lot stronger language than Sunak's was. It has been 3 years since you went to Downing Street. You will be forever cited with seeing off the threat of Corbynism and breaking the deadlock on Brexit. You shone a very welcome light on regional disparities in our country, but did nothing about it. But again, it's fascinating reading these letters, and you're like, what did you think you did in this area? What did you think you did, or what did you think we were doing? Anyway, it continues. Where are we? disparities in the country, an agenda that will continue to define our politics, but again, you're doing nothing about it. These are commendable legacies in unprecedented times that the country needs a strong and principled conservative leader, and the party is bigger than any one individual. I serve you loyally and as a friend, but we all serve the country first. When I made the choice between those loyalties, there can only be one answer. Finally, I would like to put on the record, thanks to my ministerial department and colleagues, my admiration for the NHS social care staff, my love for my family, and who've been immensely patient during these challenging times. So that was Javid's resignation letter. Oh, what's this? Conservative MP Andrew Brown has reiterated his stance that he has lost confidence in Johnson. So this just in. Ladbrokes has suspended betting on Johnson being replaced as PM. Betting firm Ladbrokes Politics have just suspended betting on when will Boris Johnson be replaced as Prime Minister. So even the bookies think that Johnson is going to go today. Yeah. Colin. Javid's resignation letter sounds very similar to the Bozo brothers' resignation letter. I have to say, Javid's was a lot stronger in condemning Johnson than Sunak's was. Very strong. It's 2 a.m. here in Bali. Can't sleep now. Johnson is teetering on the brink. He is. He's about to go. I don't think he can stay. I really don't think he can stay. I'm tempted just to stay on for like a couple more hours just to see how long this goes on for. But to be honest, we've had 4 resignations, 2 biggies, and 2 others that, while they are important, don't get me wrong, will almost certainly add yet more pressure. So yeah, we'll just have to see how this goes, how this plays out. But either there's 3 options really here that could happen. Boris Johnson resigns later on tonight. That could potentially happen. He thinks that his position is untenable in the morning, and 2 things happen. Either he will decide, screw it, I'm going to call a general election, which is possible. He's allowed to do it, or he will resign. What's going on? What's going on? Is this about the sex scandal? Yes, very much so. Welcome to those who are joining us late, by the way. I'll catch everyone up just quickly so we're on the same page. So, a little over an hour ago now, Sajid Javid and Rishi Sunak have resigned their positions in the cabinet, citing that Boris Johnson's behaviour in the cabinet has become too much and that they can no longer continue to support him. We've also had 2 more resignations. You've had the trade secretary to Morocco resign, but again, still important that he resigns. And obviously, you just had the vice chair of the Conservative Party resign live on air. She was doing an interview and she resigned live on air. So now you're all caught up, essentially. But we are essentially waiting who resigns next. It is a game of who resigns next. Will we get someone else from the cabinet? Potentially. It's possible. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Jason. I don't want him to quit. Far too much potential Tory squirming left in this one. It's one of these things that we don't know where this will go. We really don't know where this will go. It's interesting. And, of course, as Playing Gilly brings up here, it is entirely possible that Boris Johnson will go nuclear with a snap general election and just with mutually assured destruction. It's possible. Johnson must now realize he has lost control of his party. He has to realize he has lost control of his party. The only way he can maybe get it back is if he does call that snap general election and shows that he is still that election winner. That may be the only way he can get the Tory party back. But will he do it? Will they let him do it? Because the Tories, if Johnson goes, whoever they get in, and as I've said, the next leadership contest is going to be an absolute bare-knuckle slugfest. The Tories are going to knock 7 bells out of each other. We are going to see some proper blue-on-blue conservative action. And trust me, it is going to be brutal. It is going to be bare-knuckle boxing of the highest caliber. And oh boy, is there going to be some mudslinging. Oh, we've had another update. Continuing to call for the Prime Minister to resign. The Conservative MP for North Tannet, Sir Roger Gale, told Sky News, "I have said for several days now that I believe that we should not change the rules in the middle of the game, and the 1922 committee rules should remain as they are. But I'm afraid that this letter from Lord MacDonald changes that picture completely. If the Prime Minister still refuses to go without the confidence of the backbench of his party, without the confidence clearly of a significant members of his cabinet, if that is not enough to persuade him, then the time has come to step aside. Then the 1922 committee, the backbench, is going to have to do it for him." So there is now a growing sense, as you can clearly see here, within the Tory party, we have to get rid of Johnson. We must act. If Johnson will not step down, we will do it for him. I think we can now officially say the idea that there is people who, there certainly are people who support Johnson, but I think those people are now in a minority. Now very, very, very much in a minority in the Conservative Party, and especially in the Parliamentary Conservative Party. It's how long can he hold on for now? I don't think he can hold on for too much longer. And as I said, I think there's a couple of things that could happen here. Either A, he resigns later on this evening. We'll get news of Boris Johnson is holding a press conference. That will be the biggie. He will either have one tomorrow morning, and he will either A, resign, or he will go, "I have lost the confidence of my Conservative Party, so I am going to go for another general election," and potentially do what he did in 2019, but potentially on an even more dramatic scale by just removing the whip from any Conservative MP who he deems no longer loyal to him, which would mean a brand new sweep of them. We've had another one. Yeah. Jonathan Gillis, who is understood to have been a Johnson loyalist, has resigned his role as Parliamentary Private Secretary to the Northern Ireland Secretary. So we've had another one. So that's 5 resignations we've had now. We're on 5. Let's read this. See what he said in this letter. Dear Prime Minister, it is with a heavy heart that I write to you to resign as the permanent private secretary to the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to serve this government for nearly 2 years, introducing the Northern Ireland Troubles Legacy and Reconciliation Bill. To draw a line in the sand in Northern Ireland's past has been a monumental challenge. Under the leadership of the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, we've taken this challenge head on to bring an end to the vexatious claims against our brave veterans and give the victims' families the answers that they deserve. I also want to thank you personally for backing the people of Stoke-on-Trent North and Kidsgrove and Take. Levelling up has been a core mission of this government, and locally we are seeing the benefits of this. And I think I will make it my central mission that we will never be forgotten again. What levelling up? What levelling up exactly? It ain't happened. It ain't happened. Levelling up has not happened. Let's see what else he had to say. Since being elected in 2019, we've delivered over £560 million for Levelling Up Fund, part of which we used to revitalise the Tunstall Library in Baths. We've also delivered the £31.7 million to improve bus services at Stoke-on-Trent. Nice that Stoke-on-Trent gets improved bus services, while Sheffield, one of the UK's biggest cities, gets nothing. Levelling up, guys. Yeah. And created over 5 new jobs from the Home Office. We got Brexit done and delivered a £17.6 million Kidsgrove Town deal, which will see Kidsgrove Sports Centre reopen, rectifying Labour's dismal record and failing to have ambition and vision for the people I'm proud to serve. So, what's that? So, a sports centre closed, and that means Labour has abysmal record for the vision of the people that he is proud to serve. Yeah, you can tell they're all desperately, I want to resign, but I want to do it in a way that will at least get me noticed and maybe put me forward in the eyes of the party. I've been a member of the Conservative Party my entire adult life. I believe this represents opportunity for all. I feel for too long that we've made more focus on dealing with our reputational damage rather than dealing with the agenda of the people of this country and spreading opportunity for all. Well, you could have got on with it. There was nothing stopping you. Even after all this, Boris Johnson and his government have a massive parliamentary majority. No one can stop them. Even if all the other opposition parties grouped up, they cannot stop anything the Conservatives want to pass. And you have done nothing in terms of helping the people of this country level up. You gave them a new sports centre. Great. I'm glad for those people. But in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. So it is for this reason that I can no longer serve as part of your government. Again, this is weak sauce. This is such a weak resignation letter. I'm not going to lie. Javid's resignation letter was written really strongly so far. He's had the strongest condemnation of Johnson in his letter. I will continue to focus on standing up for the people of Stoke-on-Trent North, Kidsgrove and Talk, and protecting and preserving our heritage, creating new high-skilled, high-wage jobs locally, making sure that people have access to the very best healthcare and education this country has to offer. So, that was another one. So yeah, it really is who's going to be next. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of low-level resignations now, unless Johnson doesn't resign later. I can't see any more biggies maybe going until tomorrow. But yeah, they are all coming out to do this. So just another update from this. Business as usual, says Jacob Rees-Mogg. Boris Johnson loyalist Jacob Rees-Mogg speaking to Sky News. He says, there is no other leader I would want to fight a general election under. He provides backing for the Prime Minister. He says he met Boris Johnson tonight after the resignations of Javid and Sunak, and the Prime Minister's mood was very much business as usual. So looks like Boris Johnson will soldier on regardless. However, I think the decision for whether Boris wants to stay or go is now firmly out of his hands. I think there are going to be others in the Conservative Party that are certainly going to take on this. Oh, Pickly Pete. Oh, sorry, Pickly Pete. Good night, people. It's 10 a.m. where you are. Oh, good night. You may wake up to interesting news tomorrow. Yeah. Jacob Rees-Mogg is in an alternative reality. Yep. He absolutely is. Daily Mail will find an attire fire here in the US to fight as an opposed to the UK. Oh. So Theresa Coffey is not resigning. A source has told PA. So we know Theresa Coffey's not going. Oh, hang on. Oh, so this is new. 2 parliamentary aides have now also quit. The parliamentary private secretary to the now former health secretary, Sajid Javid, has also resigned. In a statement on Twitter, he said the Conservative Party has always been the party of integrity and honour, but recent events have undermined the trust and standards in public life. And obviously we've had John Gillis quit as well. So that's 6. So just to keep you up, we've had 6 resignations tonight. 2 big ones. And the rest have sort of been very low level. Don't say that these aren't going to pile on pressure. They absolutely are. Certainly PMQs tomorrow is going to be interesting. PMQs tomorrow is going to be very interesting. Yeah, Andrew Brigden's. Yeah, you are right. Glasgow Kiss. Yeah, Andrew Brigden has said he comes out. He thinks he'll be all over tonight. Nope. Nope. David Blase. Good evening to you. I'm doing very well. I think we're all a bit shocked about this. I think I was very shocked. I was in the middle of playing Tropico 6 when all of a sudden my phone just started buzzing. It just started going, where, and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And I literally went, oh my God, Javid and Sunak have quit. My God. So I've ran over to here to see what's going on over here. So yeah. Yeah, the trade envoy to Morocco. Yeah, we've already got him covered. We know he's quit. Yeah, just noted the resignation of Sunak and Javid. Will be interesting to see if Bojo is impressed or not. This is the classic case of sitting and waiting to see what happens next. But yeah, I don't see how Johnson can continue. I really don't. I think you now have, as was mentioned earlier, you have 40% already from that no confidence vote who said they did not support Johnson. Like, that's big. Like, that's big, the fact that they went. So that's very big that he went. But we are going to have to see on this just what happens next. It's sitting and waiting. It is sitting and waiting. Oh. So, Tropico 6, you mean the conservative version of the new UK? Yep. Losing your finance minister, which is the PM's number 2, is a huge blow to his leadership. Yep. What's this? Colleague Jessica Elgott's take on the significance of Jonathan Gillis's resignation. Okay, let's have a read of this. Yeah. Honestly, Jonathan Gillis resigning is arguably more damning than Sunak. See, yeah. See, no. Oh, yeah, this is the guy who resigned live on air. Hold on, let's watch this. Hold on, let's get this up. Let's watch this together. This will be fun to watch. While currently there's no action on, shall we say. Hang on. Let's stop this. Let's share. Let's share this. So this is the Tory vice chair resigning live on air.
Your thoughts on the Prime Minister tonight? Should he stay or should he go?
Well, I can tell you that earlier on today, I went to the funeral of a very long-standing councillor in my constituency. Much loved, not just because of his work as a councillor and as a mayor, but also because of what he did in the community more broadly, in family and friends. And a lot of the talk was about his deep integrity and what that means to people in this country, not just in my constituency, but across the country. And I think that what's been very sad over the recent allegations about the former deputy chief whip and other things that have happened over recent weeks, that I just don't think the Prime Minister any longer has not just my support, but he doesn't have, I don't think, the support of the party or indeed the country anymore. And I think for that reason, he should step down.
You're vice chairman of the Conservative
Well,
Party.
probably not after having said that, but yes.
All right. Well, let's see if you retain your position. You're not resigning as vice chair.
Well, no. Look, I think I think you have to resign. You have to resign because I can't serve under the Prime Minister. But I say that with regret because I think this government's done some great things. I think the Prime Minister's got a very strong legacy in a huge range of areas. But I just think that when you've lost trust of people, and the Prime Minister asked at the confidence vote to be given time to restore that trust. And I took that, as many others did in the party. But I think it's become clear, particularly after losing the support of two of his sort of closest cabinet colleagues, that I think the time has come for him to stand down.
So that was the resignation we heard about earlier. And to be honest, that's pretty damning. When your vice chair of your party steps down, that's pretty damning. Oh, this has just happened as well while we've been watching that. Northern Ireland Minister Conor Burns gave his ongoing and full support to Boris Johnson from the floor of the House of Commons. Speaking at the dispatch box, we're responding to an adjournment debate relating to the Northern Ireland Assembly and the executive. Burns said, "When the Prime Minister asked me to serve as Minister for Secretary of State in Northern Ireland last September, I became only the second minister in its 50-year history of Northern Ireland office to serve who is from Northern Ireland. As someone who is Catholic and a supporter of the Union from Belfast, I feel passionately about Northern Ireland and wonderful people. And I express tonight my enduring gratitude to the Prime Minister for the opportunity to serve. It has often been said in the past that the best way to keep a secret is to say something on the floor of the House of Commons. So from this dispatch box tonight, I use this opportunity to express my ongoing gratitude for the full support to my full passion for the right honourable friend of the Prime Minister as he helps move us to a position where we help to restore the power-sharing institution for people in Northern Ireland much need." So, again, people giving support, others not. But actually going back to the Jonathan Gills resigning, I think Jessica might actually have a point, because Gills was one of those people who had been doing the rounds all the time, supporting Johnson constantly. So not only this scandal, but other scandals, he'd been backing them. Oh, yes, by the way, thank you very much, V-Crew, for the super chat there. V-Crew. The UK ran out of money. There's nothing to steal anymore. So these guys left. Disaster capitalism can only take a certain amount of disasters. Very true. Michael Fabricant being parachuted in for one of the cabinet replacements. That's going to backfire more than Doris. That's very true. That is very true. This is from David Frost. What's Frost wrote? Well, I know he's agreed with Sunak and Javid's resignation. So what's he said to this? Rishi Sunak and Sajid Javid have done the right thing. It gives me no pleasure to say it, and I had hoped that events might have taken a different course. But I'm afraid the developments of last week show that there is no chance for the Prime Minister either putting in place the necessary change of approach of running the government or establishing a new policy direction. Boris Johnson has huge achievements to his credit. Ha! Yeah, not at all. Johnson really doesn't. The coronavirus report, when we have that pandemic report for that, it is going to be absolutely destroys the Conservatives and what they did. Veet Crew, yes, I've just read your super chat, Veet. Sorry, like I say, it was up here. Like I say, it must have come up when we were doing the video. But yeah, like I say, I've come through and read it. Yeah, like I say, thank you very much for your support there. Yes, the UK ran out of money. There is not to steal anymore. So these guys left. Disasters capitalists can only take a certain amount of disasters. Here we are. I can see Johnson trying to call an early election. I'm there with you. I am there with you on that. That is very possible. I think that could be very, very, very possible. I think that could be very, very possible. But it's what does he do? And does he call it to try and restore order? Does he try to restore authority and restamp his mark on the Tory party? That could be possible. That could be possibly where he tries and does it. You know, how he does it, he's put it this way. He might have to remove a lot of whips from a lot of people and say, you can't run again, which will be, ooh. Put it this way. He got away with it in 2019. I do not think he will get away with it this time. I really do not think he can get away with it this time. City Dweller. Entire Tory government is a disgrace, worst in history. Yep, I agree with you there. Like I say, and this government coming off the back of the Theresa May government, arguably, again, a very bad government, but Boris Johnson went, hold my pint, Theresa, I'll show you how it's done. And he's sure barreled into it. He's sure barreled into this. So, how has Rishi gone back to being the most popular replacement for Bozo? A couple of months ago, the thing about his wife was supposed to be the end of his chances of getting any further and higher than he already had. Very true, but he's still popular in the Tory party. And I think that all this stuff with Johnson, while people have forgotten, that will come back up in a leadership contest. That could potentially end his election run at the top job, but we'll see. Oh, what's this? Well, new one. Tory MP for Hastings and Rise, Sally Ann Hart, who previously backed Boris Johnson in June's confidence vote, said that she is no longer able to support the Prime Minister. That is another thing that we are seeing today, by the way. People and MPs who came out in support of Johnson back at that no confidence vote are now saying, actually, probably made the wrong decision. Anyway, what she said here. So, considering the further revelations that have come to light, and given the integrity of Parliament must be upheld, on behalf of my constituents of Hastings and Rye, I'm no longer able to support Boris Johnson as the leader of the Conservative Party and Prime Minister. Interesting. I genuinely think you are going to get a full-blown rebellion tomorrow. Like, it is going to be bad. It is going to be a very, very bad day for Boris Johnson if he still continues and he makes it to PMQs. They are going to be out for blood. They are going to be out for blood. Willen, these resignations are like rats jumping off the Titanic. They should be tainted for life for propping up the worst PM in history. Well, that's very true. If any of these people do end up replacing Boris Johnson, Labour, the Lib Dems, any opposition, just have a complete open goal. The attack line is already ready made. Look at this person. He's running to be Prime Minister. How can you trust anything he says? How can you trust them to act with integrity? They supported Boris Johnson through all these scandals. And yet now here he is running for Prime Minister or running to lead the country. It's going to be interesting. Swan Victor, if the BBC and ITV break programming and go live to Downing Street, that means there's going to be some kind of statement made. They always let the networks know about this about an hour or so notice. No, well, that's what we're waiting for, really. Will there be an announcement? Will there be an announcement? Now, if there is going to be an announcement, I think it's going to be tomorrow morning. I think it's very likely this could come tomorrow morning. Sharpbrook, question about your Labour Party. Do any of you have faith in the Durham police investigation into Starmer? It all depends. This could, if to be honest, with the chaos in the Conservative Party going on at the moment, if Starmer ends up getting a fine and he resigns, that could be, to be honest, the best situation. I have been warning, and I warned people in my video about this, that if Starmer gets a fine and he resigns, Boris Johnson could take that opportunity and call a general election. Labour cannot fight a general election and a leadership contest at exactly the same time. They absolutely can't. But if Starmer does get this, and Johnson being in the position that he is in the moment, thinking, I am going to try and regain control of the Tory party and go for an early election with the chaos that's going on in the Labour Party, it could be quite interesting. It could be quite interesting, needless to say. EKS, he won't resign. He's still got some very powerful allies, not very powerful ones. Tory party outcasts like Rees-Mogg and Doris will never abandon him. It's enough to support Bozo's fictional reality. Yeah, and to be honest, here's the thing. Whoever comes in to replace Johnson, Doris and Mogg, they're first out the door. You know, they are first out the door. These are two people in the party who, prior to Johnson, were not, shall we say, held in the highest regards. Partly because Doris, even now, has proven she is not fit to be in any ministerial position. And you've got Mogg, who is probably as hard right of the party as you can get. That if Johnson did give him the position of Chancellor of the Treasury, not Chancellor, sorry, gave him the Chancellor of the Exchequer position, that could be, he will do serious damage. He will go for low taxes. He will go for that. And he will do a lot of damage because he has a libertarian, hard right libertarian ideology that he adheres to. He is like the rest of the Brexiteers, hard right. We're going to follow this ideology because the ideology says that if you follow this, everything comes up looking at roses. If things are going wrong, that's fine, because as long as we follow this plan, this ideology, everything will come up roses. Yeah. Prime Minister Priti Patel, shudder. Yes. Yeah. Will she get it? I don't think so. I think there are stronger contenders. To be honest, I think sitting on the bench, waiting in the wings, you've got Jeremy Hunt, you've got Michael Gove, Sajid Javid, Liz Truss, Tom Tugnut, probably Ben Wallace. There are a lot more heavy hitters than Priti Patel. But as I've said, I think a leadership contest, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, a leadership contest between this current Tory party. I've already said, right now you are seeing a civil war in action with the Tory party. It is, come a leadership contest, going to be 10 times worse than this. You think this is bad? Wait until you see this leadership contest. It is going to be unlike anything we have seen in recent political memory. It is going to be off the walls crazy. So say Starmer won the G and then was fine, would he resign? Well, probably. I mean, he's come out and said publicly, yeah, I would resign, but I doubt it's going to take the police this long to issue him a fine. It didn't need this long to issue, Starmer and it didn't need this long to issue Sunak and Boris the fines. So we know we're probably going to get news about it at least probably this week, maybe next week. Yeah. Starmer report this week. We should be getting it this week. Should be. But it's when. It's when. Oh, Chthonic, hello to you. Welcome to this. Interesting times. Interesting times, to say this. What's this? Rees-Mogg attended a black tie dinner held by the far-right Traditional Britain group 10 years ago. TGB advocate repatriating non-white Brits. Rees-Mogg claimed that he did not know what they stood for. Doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. Unless she does something really, really stupid, I think Liz Truss will win. Horrible thought, but she's continued to model herself as Thatcher too. This is it. I think you're right. If Liz Truss somehow gets to the final two, and that's at the point where the Conservative Party, the members of the Conservative Party, not the parliamentary party, but when they get involved, and it's always in the final two, Liz Truss is really, really popular. And again, I have to say that with a straight face because it is true. Liz Truss is really, really popular in the non-parliamentary Conservative Party. So unless something really bad happens in like the leadership contest, unless she starts, or has a really bad like interview or something like that, if Truss gets to the final two, I think she wins. I think she wins outright. Final two, no contest. Liz Truss wins. Richard, can I have to you from across the channel? Watch from across the channel. The UK may have turned into a joke, but the popcorn entertainment is still top-notch product of the UK. Now just a way to monetize. Yeah, it's very true. ESS. I think after this PM and after the election defeat, the Tories will be even more powerless in opposition than they were during Ian Duncan Smith's tenure as leaders. Bojo has crippled them for a long time. Yeah, he absolutely has. This is going to be hard to get rid of. It is going to be really hard to get rid of. Bear in mind, it took the efforts of David Cameron to reform and recreate the Tory party back into something that was electorally winnable. What's this? What's this? We're on to 7. We're on to 7 now. Up to 7. Nicole Richards, MP, has resigned as Parliamentary Private Secretary to the Department of Transport. That's Grant Shapps' department. So, let's see what she said in her resignation letter. Nicola Richards, I will always remain loyal to my constituents and the Conservative Party. Tonight, I've made the tough decision to resign as the Permanent Private Secretary. This is a letter. Dear Prime Minister, I'm grateful for the opportunity to support the Minister and the Secretary of State for Transport in their ambitions to level up and invest in strong transport infrastructure across the country. I am also pleased to see a strong team in the Whip's office, and I know that are capable of making the changes to the culture that are so vital. Really, if you think the culture is going in the right direction, why is everyone resigning? However, it is with great sadness that I write to you to let you know that I no longer feel it is no longer feasible for me to carry on my role as Permanent Private Secretary to the Department of Transport. At a time while my constituents are worried about the cost of living, I am doing my best to try and support them. I cannot bring myself to serve as the PPS under the current circumstances where our focus is skewed by poor judgment that I do not wish to be associated with. Oof. 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 That's strong language. Like, you know, shots fired across the bow. I do not wish to be associated with. That's a very strong word. So I am loyal to my constituents and will always put them first. I'm also loyal to the Conservative Party, of which is currently unrecognizable to me. Oof. I believe something must change. Therefore, I tendered my resignation as the PPS in the government with immediate effect. So yeah, that is 7. 7. Oh, this is interesting. Education Secretary Nadeem Zawari has been spotted entering number 10 Downing Street this evening. Zawari has not yet publicly shown his hand or whether he backs the Prime Minister. So maybe we get another resignation in a couple of moments. That could be quite interesting. That could be another resignation. Yeah. That's all like just going for the regards instead of best regards in an email. Savage. Yeah, exactly. And like I say, Sajid Javid's letter, really strongly worded. All the points condemning Johnson. Oh, what's this? Which is Conservative MP Andrew Bignans told the BBC that the PM should do what he should have done some time ago and resign. If he doesn't do that, the party will force him out. That's very true. Yeah, that's also a good point. Yeah, he could be going in for a promotion. Zawari has been tipped before to be a good chancellor. It is very likely he could be maybe being offered that position as we speak. Maybe he is resigning. We don't know. I suppose we'll find out. I suppose we'll find out soon. Sparkfly number 10 had a meeting about replacing the resigned ones. Currently, they still plan to go on. Well, as we've just read there, they might want to continue on, but they are going to find themselves in the minority. Tomorrow's PMQs is going to be interesting. Tomorrow's PMQs is going to be very, very interesting. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to go grab another drink. So while I'm gone, behave. Like I say, please do remember to hit that like and share button. And help get more people in. Down below, there are links to my Patreon page. One-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee. If you're on YouTube, we've got the thank you button and the YouTube subscription button where you get lots of like bells, whistles, and whatnots when you subscribe to that. Like I say, changes to that are coming soon. So look out for those when they happen. But I'm off to get a drink and I'll be back. And who knows, maybe by the time I'm back, we'll have another resignation. Who knows? We'll find out soon. There we go. Right, I'm back. So nothing's happened yet. But if Sawari goes, that's going to be another big Joe, a big blow to Johnson. Another big blow. Oh, Vic Crew, have I missed another super chat from you? I do apologize. Oh, there you go. Sorry, yeah, I'm sorry, I must have missed that as well. Thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah. I say, thank you very much for your support there. Yeah, sorry I missed that again. But yeah, thank you so much for your support there. It's really appreciated, guys. So, Ladbrokes, for those who missed it earlier, they've actually closed betting for Johnson. They have closed up betting for Johnson. They think he's not going to last too much longer. Oh, Glasgow Kiss, thank you very much. I'm giving this super chat just to distract you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you much anyway. But yeah, the book there, the book is closed on the betting. So you can no longer bet on how much longer Johnson lasts. That book has been closed. It has been closed for a while now. But when even the bookies are giving up on you, you know you're in trouble. Oh. Steve Barclay, the new health secretary. I don't think they've actually announced anyone, or have they announced that? Let's have a look. Let's see what look at the BBC is saying. Zygus number 10. Tory MP Andrew Bigden. Boris Johnson will be gone by summer recess. Conservative MP Andrew Bigden has told the BBC the PM should do what he should have done a long time ago and resign. If he doesn't do it, the party will force him out. He said, ideally, other members of the cabinet should resign and make their positions clear. But if not, he said, it would be down to the 1922 committee to elect an executive who would be willing to change the rules, thereby triggering another vote of confidence in the Prime Minister. I confidently predict that Boris Johnson, one way or another, will be removed before summer recess. He described watching junior ministers being pushed out to defend the PM's line on Chris Pincher, that he wasn't even aware of his background, was the straw that broke the camel's back. He added that cabinet ministers were now catching up with many of the backbenchers in the belief that Johnson is an existential threat to the Conservative Party. So, like I say, we're sitting and listening, and it's just got to wait and see now. But the odds are on. The odds are on Johnson doesn't survive too much longer. That's a point a lot of people are going to be asking. Why now? Think of all the scandals we have had. All the scandals we have had. And yet, this was the one you decide, no, I think this is the point we need to go. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nicole Dismet. Another distraction. But yeah, this is the point where you decide this is where we need to go. This is where we need to, resign from the government. I put £5 on Johnson bluffing it out. That is entirely possible. Johnson has done this before. He will probably you are right, he could just ride it out. But the fact that you've now got the Conservative Party saying, yeah, if he doesn't go, we're going to force him out. This is going to get ugly. If Johnson does not go either tonight or tomorrow morning, which I highly suspect he might, given all this, highly suspect he might, PMQs is going to be, I think you will have people resigning live in PMQs tomorrow. I think it could be do that. Yeah, very true. They've chosen now because winter is coming and it ain't going to be pretty. Yeah. cost of living crisis, inflation, energy crisis. It's all going to hit in one magnificent storm, and it is going to be so damaging to so many people. And here's the thing. We've heard from a couple of these people who have resigned about the wonderful work that Boris Johnson has been doing. Bear in mind of what I've just said about all those crises coming down the line. Where's the plans to deal with this? Where are the plans to help these people? There's none. Not a one. Why? Because Boris Johnson and his government are acting like firefighters. Rather than, well, prepare and think, oh, this could be a problem. Maybe we should do something about it. No. We'll just wait and just see what happens. And then depending on the reaction, we might do something about it, but it won't be much. Yeah. What wonderful work do Tories help the working class? Yeah, they've done absolutely no work at all. Yeah, he's got all the big calls right. On another relation note, here's my resignation. Yeah. That would be what's this? Oh, so Universities Minister Michelle Donnellan has entered number 10 shortly after Nadeem Zawawi. So maybe these could be the replacements. Well, again, they might be resigning themselves. They might be maybe getting a promotion. We don't know. We'll probably find out very, very soon. But Plaid Cymru, the Westminster leader, Liz Saville-Roberts, MP, said in a statement, Boris Johnson's days are numbered. He'll be dragged kicking and screaming out of number 10 as cabinet ministers one by one find a backbone. But it is now an inevitability. The chaos that has consumed Westminster for years is utterly unsustainable. People are fed up of politicians who treat their lives as a game, who obsess over personalities and theatre rather than principles and vision. Wales has never given the Tories a majority in our country, but even if Johnson goes, the same arrogance will continue to control and command. We in Wales are taking steps to strengthen and modernise our democracy in stark contrast to the Westminster circus. It is time to do better with independence. So, yeah, things are going very, very interesting. Yeah, very true. I can picture Johnson on the phone to the Ukrainian leader saying, "Can you do PMQs for me tomorrow?" That'll be, oh, Johnson will be he'll be absolutely destroyed tomorrow. If he isn't gone, he will do something absolutely. He will get absolutely slaughtered tomorrow in PMQs. He doesn't stand a chance, you know. I'd feel sorry for him if it wasn't Boris Johnson. What's this? A different bias made a view on something to do with the education bill that would limit, restrict left-wing views. Could it be related to that? Yes, I presume you're talking about the education independence bill. Maybe it's set to pass anyway. Like I say, this is one of these things that the Conservatives want to do. It's a whole part of the culture war. The universities have already come out and said they aren't going to support it. They're not going to implement it. It's just another part of the culture war. It's pointless to really talk about because it has no massive impact. The universities, like I say, have already said we're not going to enforce it. So, you know, that's probably going to be an interesting point in that conversation where the universities come out and say we ain't going to support that because it damages our academic freedom. It damages, you know, oh, here we go. Yep. So we're getting new appointments now then. Yeah. So Steve Barclay appointed the new health secretary. Boris Johnson has appointed to appoint his chief of staff, Steve Barclay, as the health secretary following Sajid Javid's resignation this evening. So we know who's replaced Javid then. It's Steve Barclay. Let's his Wikipedia has already been updated. So let's see what it says about Steve Barclay on the weworkforyou.com. Steve Barclay, Conservative MP, on the vast majority of issues, voted the same way as other Conservative MPs. Random selection of these votes. Generally voted against more EU integration. Generally voted for a referendum on the UK's membership of the EU. Constantly voted for replacing Trident with a new nuclear weapon system. Constantly voted for encouraging occupational pensions. Consistently voted against paying higher benefits over longer periods to those unable to work due to illness or disability. What a nice man. Constantly voted against raising welfare benefits, at least in line with prices. Wow. So, yeah, that's the guy who's going to, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So check Boris Johnson's Wikipedia. May say former Prime Minister. Seems ahead on things. Very true. Paz News. Going to eat and crash. Work tomorrow. Evening each. Evening to you. Like I say, Paz News. The news, I think, could be very interesting tomorrow morning. Very interesting. But it does seem, I think, Boris Johnson is going to muddle on. I think that's an entirely foolish decision. The Conservatives and the rest of the Conservative Party are making it abundantly clear tonight. You cannot continue. You cannot continue in this position, Boris. What are you doing? It doesn't look good for him. I'll say that now. It doesn't look good for him at all. How much longer can Boris Johnson survive? Well, we've said this before. It could be, might not be long. We've got Andrew, was it Andrew Brigden saying before even the summer recess? Possible. What time does the main BBC News go out? 9 or 10? I think it's the 10. Is this BBC still 10 o'clock news? God, I haven't watched news at that time for ages. If there is a statement they want it on the main news, yeah, time is getting tight. You are right. If they need an hour to prep for a statement or anything like that, yeah, it's going to be very, very tight indeed. Yeah. Don't know what I'm doing here. I'll carry on regardless. Another Boris Johnson song. Yeah. Oh. Oh. although this is someone else reiterating the stance. Conservative MP Joe Giddens has reiterated the stance that the Prime Minister should resign, saying, with a very heavy heart, I submitted a letter of no confidence committee to the 1922 committee 2 months ago. I think it should now be clear that the Prime Minister must go. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people, I think. Right now seriously regretting the way they voted. I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people seriously regretting the way they voted in the 1922 committee. Are going to be a lot of people. What's the count away for 60 minutes? We're still at 7. No, sorry, we're still at 6. Yeah, still at 6. No one else has resigned yet. Yeah. Evening. Boris is getting the agency to cover in the government post now. Yeah. Very, very true. Yeah. They want that hugely successful American healthcare system. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of Tories really do want, which is terrifying. And yeah, Steve Barclay. Certainly, let's find out what Steve Barclay's thoughts on the NHS. I won't be surprised if we can't find them. Steve Barclay on NHS. Yeah, here we are. Steve Barclay has promised a smaller state, but what does that actually mean? Again, you can't. So yeah, he's a typical small statist. This is Boris Johnson's response to Rishi Sunak on his resignation letter. Let's take a look at that. Yep. PM's letter to Rishi Sunak on his resignation. Let's see what Boris has had to say. So, dear Rishi, I was sorry to receive your letter resigning from the government. You have provided outstanding service to the country throughout the most challenging period of the economy and peacetime history. In March of 2020, weeks after your appointment to Chancellor, we introduced the national lockdown to protect people from the pandemic. You acted to safeguard the economy with pace, with creativity and commitment. Not really. Which have been a hallmark of your tenure. The furlough scheme, convened and implemented in a matter of weeks, supported over 11 million jobs from 1.3 million employees. Throughout business loan and grants, you helped thousands of businesses to avoid insolvency, emergency funding worth more than £140 billion, enabling NHS and other critical public services to meet the knowledge challenges we faced. Where some of the money went, and this definitely needs to be looked into. These efforts prime the economy for a rapid recovery. Not so. We did have a rapid recovery, but we are now having a rapid fall where everyone else is zooming past us. Once the immediate danger of the pandemic receded, the spending review last year, you put us on track to deliver our promises to the British people, including 20,000 police officers and 40 new hospitals. Again, Boris Johnson is being, I believe, investigated over that claim of those 40 new hospitals. And that 20,000 police number, I think, doesn't even take us back to pre-2020 levels, I believe. So, yeah. Where are we? And delivered 6 million tutoring courses to help pupils catch up on lost learning. Oh my God, that's even funnier. It's even funnier. So, essentially, the lost learning grant essentially amounts to every pupil getting something like £150 extra to help spend on to catch them up on their learning, which is effectively nothing. When you look at countries like the Netherlands, who are giving £600 or something like that in the equivalence. In fact, not even that. It's like 1,000. It's over like £1,000, I think. Each pupil is extra getting to be like spent on them to help catch them up because of the pandemic. Yeah, it's yeah, that's going to be a disaster. Trust me, there's going to be, and when you look at education in the UK, it's going to be like that for the next couple of years. There's going to be a massive dip. Where are we? So, throughout all of this, you have not once shied away from the just decisions needed to repair our public finances, protect public services, boosting our economic growth. This enables us to provide support for households with 7 billion, facing global frustration, invasion of Ukraine, and now we've begun to deliver tax cuts to families, including this week to cut national insurance, saving the average worker £330 a year. You're cutting national insurance, so is the NHS not going to get any extra money? What there are consequences when you cut this type of thing, guys. Oh, come on. This is just Boris Johnson crowing, oh my God, Rishi Sunak left, but don't worry, guys. I've got a perfect replacement in the wings. Who God knows who it will be. I suspect it might be Savari. I do suspect it might be Savari. Yeah, we've just gone over that. The Steve Barclay's health minister. Yeah. Anyway, let's finish this off. I've enormous value advice and deep commitment to public service. We'll miss you working with the government. So that's Boris Johnson. Oh, there we go. Oh, yep, we are now up to 7. Virginia Crosby MP has announced that she's resigning as the permanent private secretary to the Wales office. So we're now up to 7, I think. So that's another MP gone. So yeah, so that's 7. So that's another junior minister gone. I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow morning there are no junior ministers left, or at least there seems to be no permanent private secretaries left. Oh. Dominic Raab, that's possible. That is possible. Like I say, Dominic Raab is in currently a made position for him. So maybe Dominic Raab are at that. Oh, we're at 8. We're at 8. So sorry, I've missed one then. We're at 8 then. So yeah. Steve Ball confirmed the new health secretary. See what they had to say on this. So, dear Prime Minister, I want to write to inform you of my resignation as permanent private secretary to the Welsh office. It has been honoured to serve in the department alongside my wonderful colleagues. Sadly, I'm forced to say that the sheer number of allegations of impropriety and illegality, many of them centered around Downing Street, and your premiership is quite simply making your position untenable. Wow. This might actually be a stronger worded letter than Sajid Javid's. Almost certainly. Yeah. Wow. What an opener. I am of the view that if you continue in office, then you risk irrevocably harming this government and the Conservative Party, and will hand the keys of Downing Street to the Labour Party unfit to govern. The inaccurate and contradictory statements over what you knew about the former Chief Deputy Whip's conduct before you appointed him was the last straw. I cannot continue to defend your accusations to my Yarismon constituents, who are very rightly angry. Like others, I have given you the benefit of the doubt on many occasions. Yeah, why now? The thing is, don't get me wrong, this whole Chris Pincher saga is bad. Don't get me wrong. But we've had Partygate. We've had Wallpapergate. We've had so many worse things happen. And yet, this is the one where people are standing up and saying, no more. And I want to say this. This is actually a very strongly worded letter. This is just probably as strong as, if not stronger than, Javid's letter. And it is making it very clear what is the current trajectory of the Tory party. We must get rid of Johnson. Above all, and above all else, we must get rid of Johnson. This is going to be the rallying cry. What the papers say tomorrow could be very influential. So look out for what the Daily Mail is going to say. Look out for what the Telegraph, the Times, going to be very, very important tomorrow. And like I say, Boris either maybe resigned within the next hour. I highly doubt it, though, because it's always been brought up. They give at least an hour's notice. They give at least an hour's notice in there. Or he resigns tomorrow morning. Or maybe he resigns at PMQs. Maybe he takes that as the opportunity to go. But it is going to be every single Conservative MP tomorrow in PMQs is going to tell him to go. And that chorus is going to be deafening. He might have people on the front bench who are willing to stand up and support him, but I think those are going to be the only ones. I think those are the only ones that are going to stand up and support him. Anyway, let's finish off her. Let's finish off her letter then. But today, my constituents are very angry. Like I was looking at the benefit about the situation. Given the situation, yeah, I've given you the benefit of the doubt on so many other occasions. It was this hope that you would regain control of the situation. However, I believe the situation is becoming worse. I have no idea what is happening at Downing Street, but it appears you're either badly advised or unable to change or reform this dysfunctional operation at the center of government you lead. This dysfunction, this is really strong. This is probably the strongest one we've seen so far. This dysfunction in no way reflects on the brilliant work of many ministers that are doing in other areas of the government, and often despite what is happening around you and your immediate entourage. The situation is even more distressing when I consider what you have achieved with Brexit in getting the country through the pandemic and your leadership regarding the war in Ukraine. I am also incredibly grateful for the support you have shown for nuclear power here in Aylesbury and what it means to my constituents. I hope this will be a lasting legacy. However, these considerable achievements cannot be overshadowed by the simple calculation that I believe the country has made, that you cannot be trusted to tell the truth, This can never be a position to inhabited by anyone in public life, let alone the Prime Minister. Hang on. Where's page 2? Here it is, page 2. The party I love and this government are now facing continued distraction, scandal, and allegations of cover-up. And it is not representative of the vast majority of my colleagues. They are hardworking, committed MPs and ministers who care deeply about their constituents and country. Well, they've got a funny way of showing it. They've supported you when many would have not done so, and that is to their credit. But I am of the view that the support is being abused. I know the Conservative Party and this government are not broken at the core, but I do believe that they are now broken at the top. I fully understand that my junior position in the government means little. I do this because only my conscience asks it of me, and my silence on one of the most important matters, ethics and public life, is in danger of condoning your actions. You have achieved much, debatable, but I have no confidence that you can achieve anything further other than leading the party into opposition and further debasing the office that you have had the honour to hold. I know you love this country, and you can at least serve it one last time by leaving office. Right, that's the strongest letter we've seen so far. I'm not going to lie, that is very, very strong. Very, very strong. Yeah. Strongest one we've seen so far. Does anything else happen? No. Not yet. Let's check the BBC. Fourth junior minister, government quits in protest. Yeah, that's Declan Reid. So we've just been through. Not going to lie, that was quite, again, really strong. Javid returns home after resignation. So August number 10. No news on that yet. Johnson sorry to see Javid and Sunak go. But yeah, this is yeah. By the end of tonight, there could be no more junior ministers left. There generally could be no more junior ministers left by tomorrow morning. Well, Pincher is on Grindr. Yep. Rome is burning and Nero is playing a concert. Yep, very true. Yeah. I want a scandal involving Bill Gates or Gareth Gates, Gate, which will hopefully end the Gate suffix once and for all. No, you've got Watergate to blame for all this. It's the name of the hotel. This was what started it all. Yep. Tomorrow's newspapers we're going to print very soon. They might be waiting for that before making a statement. Possibly. Labour calling for a snap election. Oh. I've had a big update. Oh. So, Boris Johnson told Sajid Javid he was sorry to receive his resignation letter as Health Secretary. In the brief letter, the Prime Minister wrote, "Dear Saj, thank you for your letter this evening, tendering your resignation. I'm very sorry to receive it. You've served this government, the people of the United Kingdom, well with distinction." Johnson noted Javid's work tackling the COVID backlogs and other plans for the health service and vowed that the government will continue to deliver on them. You'll be greatly missed, and I look forward to contributions for the backbenches, he concluded. I'm sure he's looking. I'm sure Johnson is looking forward to Sajid Javid's contributions from the backbench. So, this is interesting. So, yeah, here is a timeline of the recent political crises that have engulfed the Prime Minister's leadership. April 2nd, 2022, David Warburton, MP for to Sumter and Fulham, had the Conservative whip withdrawn after allegations of sexual harassment and cocaine use emerged. April 11th, Imran Khan, the then Tory MP for Wakefield, was found guilty of sexually assaulting a 15-year-old boy in 2008. Khan who maintained his innocence, was expelled from the Conservative Party and resigned. This triggered a by-election that Labour won in June, and Khan was jailed for 18 months in May. April the 12th, Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak were fined for attending the Prime Minister's birthday bash in Downing Street in June 2020, as part of the Metropolitan Policing loads into alleged parties at the heart of government during the pandemic. Johnson offered a, quote, full apology, as opposition parties characterised him as the first Prime Minister to have been found in breach of the law. Johnson faced the prospect of parliamentary investigation after MPs agreed to affirm to the claims that he lied about Parliament Downing Street parties. That will get him. That could be very, very big. That Parliamentary Standards Investigation Committee is going to be very, very big. That is certainly going to certainly get him. That's going to definitely get him. Yeah. Maybe Johnson will try and remove the whip from half of his party. Very true. Neil Parish quit his seat in Tiverton and Houghton after watching pornography in the Commons. Of course, won by the Liberal Democrats. In May of 2022, an unnamed Conservative MP was arrested on suspicion of rape and sexual assault. Officers' offensive spanning over several years. Tory Chief Whip Mr. Hayton Harris urged the MP to stay away from Parliament, but did not suspend the whip. Again, another big one that we need to find out who it was. In May, 25th of May, Sue Gray published a full report. The 6th of June, the government's anti-corruption czar resigned from his post and called on the Prime Minister to do the same, accusing him of breaking the ministerial code. John Penrose, the Conservative MP for Weston-super-Mare, said Mr. Johnson had failed to address the Sue Gray's report for some very serious criticisms of the leadership at 10 Downing Street. Another, again on June the 6th, Johnson's authority was damaged by the confidence vote, which saw at least 41% of his Tories MPs try to oust him. He insisted that he secured a, quote, decisive victory, as Tory MPs voted 211 to 148 in support of him. But the scale of the revolt left him wounded. On the 15th of June, Lord Gelt resigned as the ethics advisor, a day after telling the MP it was reasonable to suggest the Prime Minister broke the ministerial code by breaching lockdown laws. And of course, 25th of June, that was when he lost his 2 by-elections. Of course, Oliver Dowden resigned. 30th of June, of course, this is when Chris Pincher resigned as Deputy Chief Whip after allegedly assaulting 2 fellow guests the evening before the Carlton Club. Downing Street said that Johnson was not aware of any specific allegations about Pincher when he appointed him to the Whip's office, but it emerged over the following days that he was told about these allegations against him as far back as 2019. And all of that is just in 2020 alone. That doesn't go back to 2001 or any of the other stuff. Yeah, didn't his media team resign not long ago? Yeah, that was over, if you remember, when that leak happened and, talking about parties, that's when half his team resigned because they were like, yeah, our boss has been basically put out on a limb. Yes, what she said was obviously wrong. Yeah, it's obviously bad. It got leaked, but Johnson didn't really do anything to stand up for her. And that's how the investigations into Partygate started. So yeah, It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, I think I can hear John Burker yell order somewhere. Tomorrow's PMQ would be a grand day for Ian Blackford. I'm sure he's already training his most sarcastic interventions. But yeah, he probably is. Like I say, I think all the leaders tomorrow, and I just don't think all the other leaders, I think there's going to be a lot. And I'll tell you who is the one who needs to put her heel in. Theresa May. You cannot tell me Theresa May is not sitting at home in her flat, having a glass of wine in her hand, watching all of this, laughing away at the guy who took her down. You cannot tell me she is not enjoying any of this, because she absolutely is. Anyone watching live stream from Downing Street Parliament, are they sitting at a podium, for example, any action at all? I don't think so. Like I say, there's nothing come through from the Guardian about a statement. There's nothing coming through from there's nothing coming through from the BBC. I think we'd know, to be honest, if there was going to be a statement. Let's just check. There we are. Nothing really. Nothing yet. It could go quiet now, because obviously it's coming up to 10 o'clock. I think that's when we'll call it a day as well. I think so. We'll go on for another 30 minutes. But I can't see this. I can't see this going along. I can't see this going on after. I can't see this going on any longer. Yeah. What's the point of the ethics committee when his own MPs call him a liar? Just how it works sometimes. This is how you have investigations. It's not just Parliament that does this. There's tons of organisations do this as well. Yeah. She's skipping through fields of wheat. Very true. Yep, you were so right. She's sitting there and grinning. 30 days to go. Yep. 8 down. How many more? Yeah. MPs furiously writing speeches for tomorrow. Oh, you bet they are. You bet they are for tomorrow. Trust me, they are going to put the boot in. Papers will be on the print run now, so it looks unlikely for any statement. Yep, true. Lee Scott. So does anyone actually think he will man up and do the right thing and actually resign? No. Boris is not going to resign. Boris has that type of personality and that conviction. He will have to be dragged out of Downing Street, kicking and screaming. That is the only way we're going to get him out. And luckily, it now seems to be the case that now the majority of the Tory party are on that bandwagon as well. that's what they're going to do. They are going to drag him out kicking and screaming. They will make him a lamed up prime minister. They will change the rules of the 1922 committee. They will get rid of him. Trust me on this one. They will get rid of Johnson. Doesn't matter about his election victory or anything they've said about that, praising him. They are going to get rid of Johnson pretty sharpish. And I think you're going to see you're going to see very quickly how quickly the Conservative Party can get rid of a leader. This day will go down in history as the night of the long pinches. Maybe not. I was hoping for some more cabinet resignations. Like I say, I'm waiting to see what happens with Nadeem Zaveri. I think he's going to get offered the Chancellor position. He's going to get offered Chancellor of the Exchequer. I think that's the position he's been offered. Whether he takes that position or not, he could very well turn it down. Basically say, yeah, no way am I being your number two. I ain't being tied to you in any way, shape, or form. He could turn it down. And then, of course, who do you get? Who do you get? Yeah. How noisy do you think the Tory benches will be told to be? Oh, very tomorrow. Very noisy. What's this? YouGov Snap polls results are in. 70% say Boris should resign. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to have some more news tonight. Boris is trying to superglue a cabinet together, and at least two are fighting over the position of the first officer of the Titanic. Yeah. Very, very true. I wonder how big the fridge in Parliament is. No, Scott, I predict tomorrow's session will mention the bare minimum about this and instead come out mudslinging at Labour. Oh, I don't think so. I think they know. I think they know full well tomorrow they have to. I think the Conservative Party has to go into high gear tomorrow. You're going to see it go into high gear and get rid of Johnson. And then chaos will break loose. I have been saying this, I don't know for how long now. The Conservative Party has become a party. Well, there are now parties within the party. They are ideologically split. They are policy split. The chasms will open wide, and whoever gets the leadership position may themselves not find themselves lasting long, because obviously this is going to be a very brutal and knockdown affair. I've described it before as a bare knuckle boxing match. I think that's what it's going to be, and it's going to be deadly on so many levels. It's going to be mudslinging. It's going to be broken noses, broken bottles. It's going to be brutal. It'll be fun to watch. And it will be something we have never before seen probably in our political history. But it'll be fun to watch. Colin, first in a long time, looking forward to PMQs. Me too. Yep, the straw hat has finally snapped. Very true. In this 9th degree, how will this play out? They can't literally drag him out, unfortunately. So how it will physically be done. So everything we've heard from tonight from other Tories have basically said it quite simply. They are going to go get the election process is open for the 1922 committee. I believe it is Next week, I think it is, might be the week after, they will open those committee seats. They will go in there and they will change the rules in the 1922 committee and they will vet him out. They will vote him out. And trust me, Johnson is not surviving a second vote of no confidence because Johnson is a scandal magnet. You think this is the last one? There's at least probably 4 or 5 more to come. The ethics inquiry is investigating the flat parties in Johnson's personal flat that we didn't hear anything about. That's going to get brought to light. It is down to the 1922 committee. It is down to them changing the rules on it. And that can be done next week when we see the votes on that happen. And then probably almost instantly, as they've changed the rules, you will see another vote of no confidence. Oh, I found another super chat. Oh, Nicole Smith, yeah. But remember, the Tories are the problem, not just Johnson alone. Yep, very true, Nicole. Thank you very much for your super chat there. Thank you very much for your support. They are very, very true. He's, it's not just Johnson that's the problem. You are right. The entire Tory party has been taken over by this right-wing libertarian group who are obsessed with ideology, that ignore reality, that do not accept that bad things are about to happen, and they do not plan for them. They do nothing. It's already been said, this winter is going to be an absolute disaster for so many in this people, in so many people in this country. People are going to die. People are going to die of cold. We may see admissions to hospital from now malnourishment. It is going to be bad. It is going to be bad. Where was I? So anyway, just catch up. We'll just catch up with the chat. There we go. Yeah, never mind. COVID's still around. Yeah, very true. Very true. It's, yeah. Who knew this would be what down Boris Johnson? Well, may not. It may not. G-Rid. Is this the people crossing over? So I've said before, look, the way the UK is at the moment, the way the UK is whenever people are polled on what are you someone who's on the right? Are you someone who's on the left? Are you a centrist? Now, a lot of you know, because of the internet, being a centrist is, it's not seen, especially on the internet, as being a very legitimate position. However, in the UK, it is a thing. Being a centrist in the UK is a thing. It's not someone who sort of is really a right winger, but they pretend to be a centrist, like we see a lot of the online. It is that. And the numbers go like this: 25% on the right, 25% on the left, and sometimes, depending on which one you look at, it is between 30 to 35% consider themselves centrist. The right and the left cannot win without getting a substantial number of that centrist vote. And unfortunately, because of the way our current voting system is, where are all the lefties concentrated in? All the lefties are mostly concentrated in the big cities. And the problem is you cannot win. You cannot win with just those big cities alone. You need all the other constituencies as well. So first things first, if you do not like the political situation, then you need to push for PR. And by very much, that does look like it is going to happen. That looks like it is going to happen. That push for PR is higher, and the hunger for it is more than ever before. So, and I've said we need to push from being awareness into what it is. You know, what is it for this to, for PR to move forward next? We need to get to a situation where we're not just talking about this is PR, this will be how it is good for the country. We need to talk about how we intend to do PR, the direction we want to take it, and how we're going to start doing it. That needs to be the next conversation. And I think after the Labour conference, where it is going to win, it is going to win if we get it in. Once we get PR in, we can change it all. We can change it all. It is going to be very good when we get PR in. It is going to change the political landscape of the UK overnight. The Tories under PR will never, ever have this kind of majority ever again. Oh, just to get distracted by a super chat. Would you recommend Tropico 6? Yes, good game. Good city builder, good management builder. It's a fun time. So yeah, I recommend Tropico 6. But yeah, thank you for the super chat. So because we live in this current system, as I've said before, you have to play by the current rules of the game. You cannot play the rules. You know, everyone else cannot be playing Monopoly and you be playing Cluedo. Because it doesn't matter if you know that it's Colonel Mustard in the night, you know, with the knife in the parlor when your opponent's got a stack of houses on Mayfair and he's charging you at least £100 for the pleasure every time you land on his square. You have to play by the current political game. And unfortunately, the current political game says the Labour Party must be a big tent party. That is the current one. And because of that, Labour doesn't just have to appeal to people on the left, the far left, the socialists, the communists. Doesn't just have to appeal to them, because they cannot win on that 25% alone, where it is spread out across the country, where they are not concentrated enough to win MP seats. They cannot win. So you have to appeal to centrists. These are people who might be left centrists. They might be right centrists. You have to be able to appeal to them and sometimes win on, you know, bits and pieces and things. And a lot of people are really annoyed at what Starmer is doing by sort of pushing the party a bit more to a centrist position. At the end of the day, I understand it's the game you've got to play. You've got to play the current game by the current rules. Once we get PR and we change the game and everyone is playing Cluedo, great. We can have socialist parties. We can have those more progressive parties under PR. And we will get more, coalition governments. Labour will probably settle more to being a very sort of left, centre party. And then you will obviously get other parties that will probably appear, crop up more like, an actual like socialist party, and there will probably be a communist party. There always is, and Labour will have to ally with these people. We'll also get Lib Dems in there as well. The Lib Dems are very, very, very much a centrist party. But that's the game, unfortunately, we have to play. And you may not like Starmer for everything he's done. But unfortunately, he's playing the game, and he's playing it a lot better than Corbyn was. I don't like Starmer. I have my problems with him. If you've never seen me before, hello. I do a thing every Saturday morning called the Good Morning Walk. And people who watch me regularly know I have walked round that field shouting at the top of my voice, saying how much I hate what Starmer is doing and that he's doing the wrong thing. But not voting, and I'm sorry, Colin, I can't agree to that. You should always vote. You should always vote. If you want PR, Colin, my suggestion is to you, join the Labour Party or join the Lib Dems and make a push to become, for your local party, to push for PR to get into power. That is what you need to do. Oh, and I'm getting distracted now. I've gone off topic. And yet I thought it would happen. Yep. Just as we predicted, Zawawi has become the Chancellor. So that means there's now a position open for an Education Secretary. So, yeah, not surprising. And yet, Michelle Dolan, who followed him soon after, has become the Education Secretary. So, that, I think, ladies and gentlemen, could be game for tonight. I don't think anything more is going to happen before tomorrow morning. So we'll just go over this since he's been confirmed now as Chancellor. So hard choices ahead for Sunak's successor. Rishi Sunak was a crisis Chancellor. He spent his time expanding the state, spending and levels of taxation against his instincts to deal with the pandemic and the Ukraine crisis. He was, however, keen to draw the line under that support, even as it had made him popular. Sunak rolled back the pandemic increase in universal credit. The energy crisis was not a whatever it takes moment. At number 10, their instincts were to borrow more, tax less, and support households more. The key line in all the resignation letters tonight is that the Chancellor felt his approach to the economy was, quote, fundamentally too different to that of Boris Johnson. Without Sunak and with the new Chancellor, the PM will find it easier to tax less, perhaps spend more, and borrow much more. But that comes against increasing market concern about the UK's growing trading deficit, the slump in the sterling, and fears of a recession. It is the exact sort of time the government might rely on having an iron chancellor who can rein in his or her crisis-afflicted neighbour. But this may not be likely the direction of travel of the current Downing Street. So that's it. I think Johnson wants to go on. Let's sum this up. Johnson wants to go on. Tomorrow's PMQs is going to be interesting. I think you're going to get more. I think you're going to get more resignations tomorrow, in PMQs. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some floor crossing as well. But the Conservative Party has made it abundantly clear tonight that the majority of the party does not support Boris Johnson. They have actively come out against him. Many people who only a couple of weeks ago have said, yeah, I voted for the PM in that, but now now's not the case. There are a lot of people, I think, regretting their votes in that no confidence vote, and the Conservatives are now out to get Johnson. And it will be, they will take over the 1922 committee probably next week, I think it is. And then as soon as they've taken over the 1922 committee, they are going to change the rules of the 1922 committee to allow for another vote of no confidence, and they will get rid of Johnson. I fully believe the MP, Andrew Brigden, when he says Boris Johnson will be gone before summer recess. I fully believe that is the direction of travel the Conservatives tonight have decided that they are going on. And yeah, Glasgow Kiss put it right. So that's the other question many people are going to be asking themselves tonight. These people had their chances 2 weeks ago, and this is their red line. Exactly. Yeah, this isn't going to be good. So I don't think we're going to get a resignation tonight. It would have happened by now. There would have been an announcement that there is going to be a statement from Downing Street. That's what we would have expected. I think that Johnson has replaced both the Chancellor and the Health Secretary. Definitely intends to go on. This could go down to the wire. This is going to go down to the wire. But put it this way, the Conservatives have said enough is enough. And they will go into ditching Boris Johnson mode, and they will go full pelt. And the way they're going to do it is through the 1922 committee, unless somehow, some way, they can convince Johnson to go. So unless Johnson goes tomorrow, which, given the way he acts, is very, very unlikely, not a chance. Potentially, you could call an early election. That's possible as well. He might do that to try and regain control of the Conservative Party. He may try and do that. But who am I watching out for tomorrow? Of course, Catho G saying, Ian Blackford's going to have a field day. Yeah, very true. He absolutely is going to have a field day tomorrow. Starmer's probably going to have a field day. Davy's going to have a field day tomorrow. The person I'm watching tomorrow will be Theresa May. Because Theresa May, if you've never noticed where she sits right behind the PM. Watch her smile and wriggle with glee tomorrow as Johnson is literally caught like a fish on a hook, wriggling to try and save his life. But that's for tomorrow. So it's coming up to 10 o'clock. Like I say, we would have had, I think, something now. But that's that's your lot, folks. Like I say, I think something would have happened by now, and nothing's happened. We've got no announcements. There'll be no things like that. So yeah, that's your lot, folks. So thank you very much for joining me for this impromptu stream. Obviously, it was this big resignation. So I wanted to go live to sort of cover it all as it happened. And yeah, it's been interesting. It's been fun. But yeah, like I say, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much to Veep Crew, Cathology, and Nicole DeSmet, I believe, who I'm sorry if I missed anyone out from the super chats who also helped out the stream tonight. Thank you very much to those people who donated tonight. If you would like to help support the channel, like I say, please do click that like button or share button on your way out. Leave a comment after we finish the live stream. That helps with the algorithm. That's great. If you would like to help support the stream another way, like I say, down below, links to my Patreon page, one affiliation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And of course, there will be the YouTube thank you button, and of course, the YouTube subscription button, where you get lots of bells and whistles and whatnots when you subscribe to YouTube channel that way, and whatever. So with that said, like I say, thank you everyone for joining. I hope you've enjoyed the stream tonight. Watch out for more videos coming this week. I was going to be live tomorrow, but because of this, I think I'm going to say this is my live stream that I normally do midweek instead of tomorrow, unless something happens. I am also live every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock for the Good Morning Walk. So we'll see you then for that. And as always, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Hope you've very enjoyed yourself this evening. And as always, thank you very much for joining in this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And we'll see you all next time.